to how much talent I have. I kind of think I'm better than that. I'm joking, of course. I'm joking. I love the both of you. Thank you, Milky. One player, I'm surprised didn't get as much talk on that analyst desk, and I think it's because your way sort of got the point. I want to get your view on it. Milky said that according to MVP points, BJ and Almine are the focus, but I think Glory is the real pivot point for Sky. The reason he doesn't get the MVP points is because they live and die by him, and if he plays badly, they lose.
Yeah, especially when he's on Silas, I think this epitomizes that exact sentiment the most, which is like when they're playing for Glory and they're playing for Glory and playing for Glory. When they're playing for Glory specifically in a mid-game type fight, and they're like trying to set up a Silas for a lot of success, or Glory just in general for success, that's when the team actually looks the best inside of the mid-game. It's kind of what drove them into very positive kind of straits when it came to the winter performance that we all expected to continue for Burst the Sky. And they really have been able to kind of replicate that in VCS. But here inside of SEA Games, they've done a much better job of it. So I agree with you. I think while Glory usually gets quite a bit of praise from our analyst desk, so I am a little bit shocked that Yulwei didn't actually take a chance to really hype up Glory, or at least as much as we might have expected him to. But you're not completely wrong, just because I think Glory is a massive part as to why they're having so much success here at SEA Games as well, alongside Aomine, I think, stepping up to the plate. Again, these two are the two performers that we're looking at most, that inside of the VCS just haven't been having the games that they've needed to.
Oh, and we've got a flash in from Taki immediately hitting the pulverize into a headbutt backwards. Almine has to find his way out, but navigates it well, and now there's a bit of a turnaround. As Taki's going low, Elio wants this one, but it's a heal out of Shogun to keep him safe.
Really, really flawless use of the heal right there to keep him exactly at high enough health, make sure the Ignite wasn't actually going to take him down any additional health points. I think they really wanted to capitalize on that level 2 hit really quickly, but unfortunately Aomine and Elio were just in position to be able to snag one more minion as the WQ was coming out from Taki. Had they been one minion sooner on that wave, it actually might have been a really massive difference, might have burnt summoners even further, and Aomine's flash might be gone at the moment. But unfortunately, or at least to the plum of Sky's bottom lane, they were actually able to get out of that situation relatively unscathed. So good on them for being able to do so.
Yeah, I want to shout out. Ooh, there's Glory. It's just going to be a bit of poke. Ooh, never mind. Froggy gets the Ignite. Glory's gone in without. Glory went in without mana there. Didn't really work out. Couldn't get the Kingslayer. But what I want to say is, I think Almine had amazing restraint there. I would have flashed. I flashed that every single day of the week to get away from the chompers, but he realized he didn't need to. Just pressed Q with the red gun and found the way out of the labyrinth. So just super well done there.
Yeah, good resolve from him being able to kind of navigate out of a situation that looked pretty dire without actually losing his mind. Mostly because the Alistar combo was gone at the time, but here we see a bottom side dive. You love this from Saigon in the setup on this one.
That you do, and you know that Glory can't TP in. That horrible trade early sets this up so easily. Elio will be going down. Ryuka's arrived, and now Drakthar reinforcing, and SGB are getting low. Almine firing in from the side. Taki still alive. Almine has to walk so far forward, just walk into the jaws of the beast. It's a double kill for BJ, and Drakthar now trapped under the tower. He's waiting for his mid laner, but he might be waiting too long as the triple kill is secured. It's answered back by the tower, but oh boy, SGB is here to play.
I love the setup. You talked about it perfectly, where not for the bad trade that had been taken in the mid lane, where just for a few points of mana, if Glory were able to get the Kingslayer off in that mid lane combination, maybe we don't talk about this actually going through, but you can see the ramifications of what that mid lane play led to. This allows for Froggy to start roaming the way that he had it in previous splits to really make an effect without throwing him off of his CSing all that much. I will say, Elio stalled this for so long. Look how long it took them to kill off the Nautilus and how far back they had to go just to get this one kill. It gave time for Drakthar to re-engage in a fight like this. But it is BJ's performance who, once again, has really been stepping up this split as opposed to Winter that was able to kind of win them outright, right? The triple kill comes through. He goes for the dive underneath of the tower. He's able to get quite a bit, and he gets Shogun and Froggy out for an advantageous kind of take underneath this bottom tower. Again, they were first to the plate. They were able to make things work even through a lot of the stalling potential that the Nautilus had. And they didn't even need a teleport from Hosmed. Hosmed couldn't get into the right position. Now back to the bottom lane once again.
Yeah, but look at this as Elio once again being chunked out. Drakthar arrives. There's a purple gun tag as well. So they have follow-up CC. That's a kill on the Jinx. Goes over to Elio. Hardly ideal. BJ's not going to try anything. It would be a little bit too bold.
Yeah, nothing crazy about this one. BJ is incredibly powerful at the moment with after that triple kill and after the back had actually come through. So that means that Amina and Elio can't really get as bold as they would want to in a play like this. Just have to walk out with the 1 kill underneath of their belt. As you can see, the bottom lane, again, a point of attack on both sides. It seems like both teams are playing to it pretty heavily. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on the top side. It looks like a little bit of an engagement for Hasmed. But it feels like the more and more action continues to kind of flood around Amina and Shogun as being the primary benefactors of some of the earlier game play that's coming out from both teams, which is crazy because we talked about how Burst the Sky, if you're able to get Glory unlocked, how big of a difference that it can make in a game like this. But they really are just putting their eggs into the Amina basket right now.
Yeah, I think there's a level of intent there as Glory gets chunked out. Yeah, Froggy Vex. We know this champion even outside the SCA games. He's really good at it. There's the steal away of the Vex ultimate. Froggy, I don't know what he's going to be able to do that about this as a big bear runs on in. But look at the screening for him. They keep him alive, and BJ gets 2.
That is flawless stealing.
Your mental's gone.
That is a shattered mental. And again, it's a combination of both being able to roam with Taki up to the top side of the map to be there for some support, and BJ being as powerful that he is, he's just able to win out that situation. Even if they trade Froggy's life, ends up still being a 2-for-1. Now BJ's back to bottom lane. He's getting a little bit hyphy right now with that kind of gank because it was pretty telegraphed. But one way or another, being able to pull Froggy out of the jaws of kind of misery right there, out of the mid lane, because in the 1v1 he was doing fine against Glory. It wasn't until Drakthar came in that things got ruined. And once the reinforcements on both sides kind of entered the fight, things went well. So can we talk about where did BJ come from? It went from being him like a superstar to then also having the worst winter split that we've ever seen, literally, and then also being one of the best now inside of both C-Games and inside of the split. You can appreciate what they're able to do right there, to be able to chain CC Volibear so long that there was nothing there. They were waiting for Froggy. They bought him time for another corrupting potion stack. That was kind of incredible between the two of them being able to plan that out.
Absolutely wild. Yeah, my theory on BJ is that he's a plant. He only functions in spring. Winter, he's a bit dormant. It's a bit too chilly for him.
What about summer?
Well, he hasn't played a summer split.
Well, that's the question, is whether or not the plant is going to thrive in summer.
Exactly. We have to find out because we've only seen him in spring and winter. So, I think my theory works there.
Yeah, I don't think that's completely unreasonable. He's literally a bean, so maybe that's the idea.
Exactly.
He's a bean you have to be able to work with. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. This entire idea for Sky now also, which is that we were expecting them to kind of take strikes inside of the mid game, I think it goes a little bit awry now that there is a Xin Zhao who's capable of frontlining and has all this damage to work with. That just kind of changes the landscape of what the game is going to look like. Because, Sky has put so much resource into making sure Amina is not going to fall behind. It feels like they almost have to double, triple down on that fact alone, just so that they can get through. Because at the moment, Volibear is not going to be anywhere near the Xin Zhao anytime soon. You don't have anybody that can kind of match what the Vex is going to be able to do to some of the backline. And so you really just need the damage to win out in team fights. And I can appreciate that Sky has shifted into this mindset in an attempt to get some plates off the board in exchange for this Rift Herald that went down. They do at least match that number. Looks like mid tower's not going to get cracked either. Thankfully, Glory with the ultimate from the Xin Zhao is going to be able to kind of push that off. But that mid tower is looking pretty scuffed at the moment.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit damaged. Froggy did get his share of the gold there, so this Vex is extremely strong, has a CS lead as well as 5 assists on top of that 1 kill. Froggy in a position to be set up to carry, can kind of inherit BJ's lead once Xin Zhao starts falling off a little bit, can just pass it on over to Froggy. So far, I mean, it looks like the Buffaloes are really on Stampede.
They really are. They have a lot of ways now to play out both kind of team fighting and individual lanes, because at the moment, Glory is pretty far behind in terms of the laning phase. Not only the kill, but also down 4 assists and down about 25 CS, something like that, in the mid lane, which is a little bit crazy to think of. The only place that you're having a bunch of success is actually top lane. It seems like Ryuk has been doing great in the Gnar versus the Gwen matchup. You can see that actually right display on your screen. Has the ultimate to go for, but again, Gwen is immune, so you're not that worried about that until Ryuk decides to jump in after this ability is down. That's not even going to work either. You just haven't been able to get anything going for like tangibly in your side lanes whatsoever. I know Drakthar is going to want to try to find a strike against Hosmet here, but that can't be the easiest thing in the world.
Has the volley bear ult, but BJ's in range and Gwen can buy so much time. Yeah, I think Sky gets lucky by not going for this one. That would have gone horribly wrong. But once again, another play is just completely stifled.
And it's off the back of a massive wave that gets stacked for Hosmet. Oh, and Ryuk now is actually, okay, has to burn the flash really, really quickly. Okay.
Yeah, no point taking the risk. The needles were coming out. Hosmet should be able to push this wave in, but this is something I always like to see from SGB in terms of how much I think they're actually strong. If they can look strong while Hosmed doesn't do anything, then they're a terrifying team. Because Hosmed will often do stuff, and Hosmed's really good.
Yes, Hosmed is very good, especially when he gets into the stage of the game where he can start to have the most impact. The knock on, I think, Saigon at the beginning of the split was that Hosmed was not having a good opening to the split, which is what cost them against Team Flash at the very beginning. We get some more interaction in the mid lane here.
Glory's just dead. Glory, he takes so much damage, he goes down. That will reset Froggy's ultimate as well. And look at the fear. Good flash away by Froggy, keeps himself safe. And it's another kill into BJ. And Sky, they're just getting blocked at every single angle.
Oh my goodness. That was an incredible play, not just because of what happened, because they got a double kill, obviously, but I think that was just unexpected from Sky altogether, because Glory died so quickly that it felt like it was two individual 2v1s rather than a 2v2 that actually played out for this team altogether, because Glory goes down immediately, then Drakthar jumps in an attempt to get a response. But like you said, at that point, the resets had already come in, the preparation was ready for the Volley Bear to come in. You actually get to see that. Ultimate comes through from Froggy immediately onto Glory. That kind of causes this whole situation to come about. You love the fear as well that sets up BJ. Look at him. Yeah, Drakthar only just now gets the stun as the kill is going down onto Glory. I will say BJ low-key trolled his mid laner by ulting him back into Froggy a little bit, but the flash does get burnt. Doesn't matter all that much. They end up with the double kill. And it's further kind of just throwing an advantage into this mid-jungle combination that they can now, again, begin attacking the rest of the map with.
Yeah, for sure. And Froggy is well and truly unlocked. He is on this Vex. He has the long-range ultimate. He'll be level 11 very, very soon. I don't even know what the angle is for Sky here. I just feel like nothing has gone right for you. Are you just looking at game 2? It is a best of 5. You've got a long way.
At this point, maybe you are. I guess, again, if you're really, really trying to salvage this game in particular, the best way you could try to do it is just to absolutely hand-feed Amine every single ounce of gold that you possibly can in an attempt to get Aphelios to win front-to-back teamfights, because you do have a pretty menacing front line on all boards. That's not good for Ryuk.
It's not, but with Drakthar coming in, Taki is doing well, tanking up the tower, but Hosmed has to find a way out. They picked up the first kill with Shogun's reinforcement, and this volley bear looks, I mean, what kind of bear is this? Because it's not effective.
Yeah, barely effective in the slightest, unfortunately. Surely affecting the Trout population is the gank against Ryuk in the top lane as well, because all of a sudden, the Saigon Buffalo has begun attacking in every other avenue of the map, which is exactly where they need to go. And they're putting more gold into the pockets of Shogun now, because now, I mean, the defense here is going to have to be Aamine as they're on the top side of the map. That's going to open up the Dragon Pit for the side of Saigon Buffalo. And things get, I guess, fishy is the best way I can talk about it for Sky, because again, what are you going to push for top lane tower here up against Shogun? Maybe, but they've got more than enough coverage on the top side to be able to work with, and bottom side is now just completely owned by Hosmed and Froggy, who are both incredibly easy to play out solo laners. The one person who you need to get gold is still playing into the duo lane. You're not able to get to the Rift Herald either to try to expand any gold, because Saigon's got permanent push. Like you said, it feels like avenues that could have been ways into the game for Sky have been clamped off in pretty much every direction.
Well, they're going to try and make a play onto the bot side, and that one will finally be effective as Glory gets a big shutdown. Froggy caught out.
And now Dragon is on the table for them, off the back of what was pretty crisp communication, I have to imagine, because they catch them on a solid timer. You can see that there are members from the side of Saigon that might be willing to shift down to Dragon, but the Rift Herald is the important one. They reset the Rift Herald. They didn't end up taking it. What in the world?
I think they have picked... Hang on, they killed it?
Wait, what? They put it down immediately?
They must have. Yeah, it's just... Yeah,
That'd
it's right
be a
there.
mistake. Okay.
Hey, Shelley, that's just... Yeah, he thought he had a ward. He just screwed up. He thought he had a ward.
Oh, and
that's the only explanation.
Glory gets killed by the Gwen, also. This is all happening on
display.
Yeah, we're missing quite a bit of things on the screen, unfortunately, but lots of things have happened now in the last minute or so. Yeah,
I will cut them slack. I didn't expect them to waste a herald.
Yeah, I didn't expect a lot of what happened in this last few seconds, to be quite honest. It was a nice forcing play from Sky because they had to figure out a way to actually attack the map because they were kind of losing on all avenues, and they go directly into the Vex. I think it was their best avenue of attack. They find themselves a really solid kind of dive underneath the turret, which is something that they hadn't been able to kind of operate on before. And this is the kill from Hosmed onto Glory. Glory, you got no meta, man. Like, what are you doing here?
He tries to teleport out. No. Chop chop.
Now it's another cooldown burn too. Man, Glory's not having a game today. That's unfortunate.
He's having a bit of a shocker, and this is what I was saying at the start. He's the fulcrum of this team. He is the funny fulcrum, and it's not working out. You know, he swings one way, he swings the other. This is why I think he's such an important player to watch for Sky. Because really, if you look at it, yeah, okay, Drak'Thar's had a bit of a clanger, but he hasn't really had any lanes to play through. But Almine, fine. He's doing his thing.
He's okay.
Elio, I actually think has looked pretty good. Ryuk was dead even in lane the whole time. So really, it's Glory that collapsed.
A little bit, yeah. I think it was the difficult matchup that they had to play for in the mid lane. It's a fair amount of it was just the initial play, right? A lot of the advantage that came out from Saigon was off the back of that bottom dive after the play had happened in mid lane, where the teleport got burnt by Glory and kind of forced them out of lane once again, because that led to a pretty decent CS deficit as well. And now, Saigon is taking what is a 5,000 gold lead, and they're not expanding it super hard. What they are doing is moving around as much as possible Shogun. I kind of want to see them continue to get towers and such around the play. Wow, what?
On to Glory. He's just going to go straight in. Elio flashed forward to block the rocket. He didn't do that on purpose, but it doesn't matter because it's going to work out and get them a kill.
Yes, but now Glory's definitely the minimum.
I mean, he's going to buy a lot of time with the
hit something. Hosmed?
Yeah, Hosmed's just working on the support. Has Taki coming in? They've just let Glory slip.
I think they're okay because he's off the map for a pretty significant amount of time. So I guess they don't care all that much as they're attempting to go elsewhere. Again, the one curiosity... Oh, okay, Shogun's going to go chase him down to the best of his abilities because he's on a ward right now.
I mean, Shogun could just get one shot.
He could. Kingslayer is available. Oh, no!
Yeah. He just gets one shot.
Oh, how in the world does that happen right there? Like, I thought he was going to go chasing him through all of the jungle, but he ends up not. I know he probably expected almost certainly that would have been a back from Glory just to make sure that he wouldn't die in that situation. We're not done with Hosmed yet either.
Yeah, Drak'Thar, ult and flash. He actually lives. Now Glory coming back in. The man you forgot to kill steals away a Crescent Guard as Drak'Thar coming on in, trying to get as much damage down as he can before he has to leave. But BJ is a hunter and it's bear season as they picked up one. But now Glory fires back with two of his own.
This mid game has been so weird for the side of Saigon because Burst the Sky has set themselves up. We talked about how they did this in winter with a lot of dive potential. Glory has been dug completely out of a hole, at least to some extent, with a couple of kills that just went over to Glory off the back of that really impressive teleport. And this mid game swap for Saigon, I think they wanted to put a bunch of gold into Shogun. I think the intention was to take this powerful Xin Zhao, take this powerful Vex, and kind of hover the side of the map where Shogun was going to be so that you could make a potential dive happen. Well, the thing is, they're not setting up Vex on the opposite side of the map, or they're setting up Vex on the opposite side of the map, and that's opened up an avenue for Sky to be able to continue to punish. This is Hosmed and BJ finding what looked like a solid pick into Drak'Thar. They had quite a bit of the damage in. They do burn 2 TPs. I will say that took quite a bit out of the arsenal that's held from Sky to be able to do anything. and they do at least find the one play off the back of this. But again, it has actually been pretty much all Sky in this mid game because they haven't been able to find the avenue for Shogun to really get a bunch of the gold, which I know was the intention from Saigon. Because if they do that, then all of a sudden team fights don't go their way either, and Sky just has no legs to stand on because Amine isn't worth anything. But now the game has been stalled long enough for these, for some of the gold to actually start to flood back into their pockets. They're down 3,500, which in the VCS basically means nothing.
And to cap off our breakdown of that passage of play, I'd like to remind you that it all only happened because Elio flashed to blocked a rocket that he didn't even know was in the air. The flash was unrelated. What a series of events. As the Dragon will be started, Sky with priority.
Ooh. We're seeing move into... Ooh, okay. The ultimate from the back actually built on Amine, got nothing. We have front to back fight.
Elio misses the hook. They just collapse onto Drakthar, who has to ult out. He immediately dies to Shogun. The excitement is here, but so is the flames. As Aphelios brings down the damage, Elio hitting a nice hook as well. This is a tight fight. Glory will pick up the first. I'm still looking at Shogun, but look at his mana. He can't fire the rockets, Rebel.
Can't. We're out of range right now. We're out of ability for Shogun to just outright carry a fight like this. The health bars on Sky are still really low. And I think with Froggy being at basically full health, they're going to have quite a bit to work with here. Ryuk is going to try to challenge a little bit. Glory also was kind of hanging around the area. But yeah, enough damage was dealt. There wasn't a winning fight coming out, but Shogun did enough work in there to really be able to kind of clean things up. And you can appreciate it. A lot of that off the back of Elio missing that hook. If Elio hits that hook, and all of a sudden he and Drakthar are both on the front line and they have somebody CC'd, this fight might actually completely change. This might be a hugely winning scenario for Burst the Sky. They might have the ability to win out around this dragon, kind of take the gold advantage. But unfortunately, just doing that ended up not putting anybody on the front line alongside Drakthar. Really let Shogun kind of go crazy inside of a fight like this. There was no counter dive from Ryuk, from Glory, anybody like that to contest the positioning of the Jinx. And Shogun isn't even crazy fed right now. He had the Phantom Dancer. I think he bought the Last Whisper after the fight was already done, which means that we only have a positive area to move into if you're on the side of Saigon Buffalo.
It's very true. And Shogun is someone we're going to have to start watching as those items continue to build in for Jinx. Has gone the slightly cheaper build. Hasn't gone the 3 items of Mythic, IE, and Lord Doms.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of respect it. I think he kind of does need to start spiking. He needs to come online. Aphelios looks like he is going the IE route.
The decisions being made by both ADCs will have obvious consequences. Okay, waiting. Cosmed,
he's trying to do Gwen things, but no. Glory shuts him down, and Glory, he's 6-3 all of. Oh no! It's on target! It's on target! It's on target!
Oh. That's huge! Not only do they have that kill coming through, but Ryuk, he's got teleport to actually join them, but the Baron is already under half health. If they just spike this down as fast as possible, they can't even take a full-on engagement because they don't have the Gnar ultimate to be able to work with. It's just mini Gnar that's going to be teleporting into a situation like this. They're going to have to get so much done with Amine.
Elio dives on in, trying to do what he can, but it's absolutely nothing, as it's another excitement proc for the Jinx, and oh my word, Froggy! He takes him down! Double kill for Shogun, Froggy gets one of his own, and Almine will be the last to fall. It is an ace!
The double commit to the top side right there actually costing or to the bottom side, my apologies, from Sky, costing quite a bit. This is how they were able to claw their way slightly back into the game in terms of gold, is just punishing the side laner that's coming through from Saigon Buffalo over and over again. But this time they're posturing around the Baron. You really cannot show on bottom side like that if you know the opposing team is going to be able to go for a Baron. Even if you get double backs off there, the teleport coming in from Ryuk isn't going to be that valuable. Now Glory is just going to get run down right off of his back timing. The Baron's gone over. Everything has gone back into the side of Saigon Buffalo. We thought that there was some chance for Sky to be able to climb back into a game like this. It's gone. That's well and truly gone at this point. Saigon Buffalo, easy enough.
When we get to it in the replay, I want to point out, because I've been so critical of BTS's communication. Look how many of them see the rocket. Elio, say something! Tell him to move! Come on! Tell him!
That's such a tough situation.
The rocket's on the way.
It's really weird because from the angle that it was shot at, maybe they thought it was just scouting them behind the pits, but like, yeah, somebody should have said something to Glory, because that's one of your two teleporters to be able to get you into a fight like that, and unfortunately it just ends up being the death of Glory, which does cost them quite a bit in that fight, because it just ends up being the 4v4 where like the massive kind of bulk of Saigon's composition is together in one really collective piece, and again, a Mininar teleporting in isn't going to accomplish much. They're just forcing their willpower here.
Gets it started. Glory is tagged up. Does the Vex want to go in? Froggy making a huge play. He just annihilates Almine, who just about survives with that red Moonlight Vigil. But you can't say the same for the rest of the team as they fall away. And SGB retake control and take the game.
Sky had a lot of forcing moves in the mid lane to be able to kind of collect a lot in their back pockets, but they weren't realizing that in the background, slowly, the Vex had become an absolute menace, and Shogun had gotten enough gold to really win out team fights. So Sky found their moments of brilliance, but it just did not matter.